Hello everybody, this is Dora Gyárfás and I kindly welcome you here. It's going to be an English-speaking panel discussion, so I hope everybody speaks English here. Also, because you can ask our guests after I speak to them, and you also have to ask them in English. I hope you all know why we are here, because there was this huge success from Norway called SKAM, which was a 4-season long series about teenagehood. and it went wire because it was an online series, and it had a lot of revolutionary ideas, and also showed the teenage life in a different way than any other shows. So now we can welcome two contributors of the show here in Budapest, which is a huge honor to us. So let me introduce you first, the director and writer of the show, Julie Andem. Please grab a mic, Julie. And we can welcome here one of the leading actresses of the show who played Nora's character, Josefine Frida Pettersson. Hi, Josefine. It's very nice to meet you here in Budapest. And as you can see, there are fans here for SKAM. I think this is your everyday experience, I guess, that everywhere you go around the world, there are fans of SKAM, right?
Well, yes, it has been surprisingly many fans around the world. But we never get tired of it. It's very nice to meet you all.
Also, although it was actually a long time ago, because it started in 2014 and it lasted until 2017, so it was just 4 years from your life, but it was very intense, I guess, these 4 years.
Very. It was from 2015 to 2017, so actually it was just 2 years. We made 4 seasons in 2 years, so it was a very intense period.
I see. First, I'd like to ask you, Nora, how did you get into the show? Not Nora, I'm sorry, Josephine.
Oh, that's very... I get that all the time. And also, like, with people I meet, they're like, Nora, they just say that.
But this is actually the concept of the show. Sorry to interrupt you, but the concept of the show was to blur the line between reality and fiction. And it can be a very interesting and also confusing experience for a young actress. So I also would like to hear about that. But first, how did you get to the show?
I saw on the internet, I saw that there was this audition for a teenage like internet show. And then I applied. And then I went to the audition. And then I think it was 4 or 5 rounds.
Yes, 4, I think, yes.
And
maybe then, 5 with you, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Julie called on my birthday, I remember.
Wow.
And then...
Best present ever.
Yeah, it was. It really was, yeah.
And then you jumped into the air and said,
yeah, I was very happy.
Okay, then tell us, Julie, how come the idea of the show and what was your original idea of it?
Well, it was because the show is made at NRK, which is like the public broadcaster in Norway. And NRK hadn't made any show for teens in 20 years. And the saying at NRK was that it's impossible to reach teens. So, and I was...
You mean impossible in these times?
Yeah, in these times, they were just like, we're not going to use money on trying to reach teens. Teens are watching Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad, and it's like, how can we compete? So they didn't really spend any money on teens, but I worked in the children's department, so I was making...
Which department, sorry?
Children.
Children's department,
yes.
I see.
So I was making a show for tween girls, aged 10 to 12. And then we realized that the show became very popular, and we realized that there were teens 15 and older watching that show. So, and then they said, do you think it's possible to make a show like this for teens?
But this show was already not just for TV, it was also multi-platform.
Yes. So it was, they didn't have Instagram, but it was kind of like a fictional blog. So the characters pretended to have a blog where they talked to the camera, talked about their day. So it was also like blurring the lines between reality and fiction. But then we realized in making a show for an older audience that they didn't really care about blogging, but they were on Instagram and Facebook. So that was the idea, to create a drama series, but have all the characters be on social media and act as if they were real people.
But public TV is only the background of it, and it was made for internet originally,
Yes.
or did you ever wanted to air it on TV?
We did air it on television. So what we did was that we had the show run in real time, which means that if it's like a Friday night in the show, the clip is like published at Friday night.
It's just a clip. It's
Yes.
not an episode.
Yeah, but then every Friday we would like publish the whole episode, and that consisted of all the clips during that week, and that episode would also air on television. So it did, and actually television was the place that kind of it was kind of like a commercial for this show, because a lot of people watched it first on television, or they saw something on television and then was like started just watching the episode until that one Friday where they were so hooked so they couldn't wait for another week and started watching the clips. So it contributed to the series' popularity.
But I think it's a very different experience for the Norwegian audience than for anybody else, because we
Yes.
couldn't watch it real time, and we couldn't actually be part of this online fan club, because we got it much later. But for me, it says that Norwegian public television is a very progressive place where you can experience or you can experiment with different kind of approaches.
Yes, I think that was the greatest thing about SKAM, because it was like it was just a test to see if we could reach teens. It didn't feel like, it felt like an experiment where I could do whatever I wanted and nobody really cared. They were just like, okay, if it's working, it's fine. If not, we didn't spend that much money on it. So the freedom of trying to create something great without being scared of like
without the pressure.
Yes, I think that's half of the reason it really worked, because we really only cared about making a show that worked for teens.
And the other half is maybe that you were so much prepared, because you had the time to really dig deep into this topic and get to know this generation you were talking about.
Yes, I absolutely think so. That we did the job, we did the research, tried to understand. Okay, so we're competing with Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. How do we compete with them? We have to be something completely different. And what we can do is that we can show the teens in Norway that we know exactly who they are, because HBO or Netflix will never know who they are, but we know who they are and we know their culture. So we have to be really specific going in, telling stories about their culture and identity, and that's how we'll reach them.
And you made a lot of interviews with teenagers?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we were. I think we with hundreds of teens, and some of them for hours.
And what was the impact on you after these interviews? Did you experience different things than your memories were about this age?
Yeah, sure, I think so. Every time going or writing about a team or researching a team, as a writer, you always have to kind of find somewhere in yourself that it resonates, that you know, like, I know this story, I can tell this story because I remember, I know what this is about, I know the feeling of this.
I suppose, like, looking for love and getting friends and have fights with adults, not just parents, but teachers and everywhere, is an eternal phenomenon among the teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So there are some topics which come back in every generation, but there are some differences as well, also because of the environment, which changed a lot because of the internet.
Yes.
When you were cast to this show and you first read the script of it, what did you think?
I thought it was very cool, and I had never read a script before or acted or anything.
You didn't act before
No,
at all?
No, none of us did.
Wow, I
Yeah.
thought there were these young theatrical groups or, you know, acting as hobby for you. No?
No, no.
But you wanted to be an actress?
Yeah, I think just as every young girl,
Every second?
you know, like I want to be an actor when I grow up. But so I wanted to, but I didn't think that it would happen. But I always searched the internet about like for auditions, but it was never anything for my age. So I never found anything to go to auditions for. Or
But also there weren't any opportunities in your school or in your environment?
no,
Never?
No, not
It's
that
funny.
Yeah,
Norway is a really small country.
yeah. There's not that, or there is projects every year. So it is like movies and series that comes out every year, but it was never like anything about teens or kids when I was a kid, or you know. So
So this casting was the first acting try in your life.
yeah,
It's funny. And how many birthday was when you got the first role of your life?
What did you?
How old were you?
Oh, 18.
18.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
So you read the script and then you thought, wow, this is a script. This is
Yeah.
how it looks like.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, I think I'm supposed to learn the lines so that I remember them.
And it was, I suppose, the first season, which means it wasn't your season because Nora wasn't the main character in this show first. But you feel that it's a very good opportunity?
working.
I mean, you are not the leading actress of the show, but still, it's very interesting. I mean, yeah.
I think she got a lot of information about the character, the Nora character. I hadn't written, like, I wrote every episode from week to week, so nothing when she got the part was written for the...
Oh, I see.
So she only knew, kind of like, I told her, this is the Nora character, this is how Nora works, and I had several people coming in and acting for Nora character, and then Josefine came in, and she was just so stunningly charming. And this character, the Nora character, is like a very uptight character, really. And she can be hard to like if you have the wrong cast. Like if you cast her wrong, she can be like hard to like because she's very uptight and have some strict rules about life. But then Josefine came in and she was so charismatic, so charming. I was just like, it's impossible not to like this character if Josefine plays her. And then I think I told you that Nora is going to be the main character in season 2.
That's what I wanted to ask, if she knows, if she knew that.
Yeah, she knew that. And she knew it was going to be a love story with William. And I had Josefine and Thomas, the guy who plays William, act together on the audition, and I tried their chemistry.
But it means that you knew the journeys of the characters from the beginning, but you haven't written it yet.
Yes. So I knew the journeys of Eva and Nora, the first and second season, and then I wasn't sure after that. And then in the middle of season 1, I was just like, this guy, Tarjei, playing Isaac, he was so amazing. And I was just like, wouldn't it be cool to switch perspective to him? And then I remember calling him in the middle of season 1, asking him, I'm thinking about having Isaac as the main character in season 3. What do you think? And he was just like, sure, that would be cool, but do you think this show will last that long?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. How did you know how long does it will last?
I didn't. But we just took it like season by season. But I asked him just because I was inspired. I got this vision of this one scene in my head with him, and then I was just like, I have to ask him, and then we can start planning for it. And if the show gets cancelled, then it gets cancelled, but we can't stop planning.
So what was your idea about Noora's character?
Well, I wanted to create a story that was like initially about, because I felt like talking to the teens that they were really like discussing within themselves what is good and what is bad. Like what is good and what is evil, almost, in life. How do you choose? How do you know what is good and what is bad? So I want...
So these fundamental moral questions.
Yes, moral. Moral is like the headline of her season. And I wanted to create like a character that was like, on the paper, very... had very good morals and seemed like a very good person, and that was Noora. And then I wanted to create a love story with a guy who seemed like a very bad person with bad morals. And then I wanted to have the audience discuss what is good and what is bad in that love story, and kind of see if I could turn it around at some point.
And how are you with that, Josefine, with these moral issues in your real life? Does it really matter to you?
Yeah, of course. I think that like every human, we ask questions every day on what we should do and what we should say or not, or how we should behave. But I think teens today, maybe it's more difficult for them because of there's so many opportunities and social media and everything, and more pressure than, even though I was just 18 when the show started, I went to a much more calm school because I was in a small city going to high school.
Oh, so you haven't lived in Oslo?
No. So I remember I didn't know that the script was relatable because I was like, oh my God, this is so dramatic. I was like, Jesus Christ, nobody has that car, and nobody is like doing that, and so much drama, because I went to a very I was in the music school, so I was just a part of the nerdy gang, so I was just invisible and just did my thing, so I didn't know.
And so you play an instrument?
Yeah,
Which one?
I used to sing and play the piano.
I see.
But so I didn't know, but then when SKAM came out, everyone was like, that was my teenage years, because it's very much like that in Oslo. And so
there is a huge difference between the countryside and the city in Norway as well, like in Hungary.
Yeah, I think so.
But also when William arrives with this Porsche, it's a Porsche, it has the meaning that, wow, what this fuss, and what does he want? He wants to make an impression. I don't want it. So it's the same what you felt, actually. So
yeah. I was like, but I have friends that were like, yeah, I remember my first boyfriend coming to school in those cars and having those apartments and yeah. So
you could use your own experiences. It means.
No, I haven't experienced that. We just we skied, but we were just like, it was not like that.
And
but at the audition, I felt like, because I paired up Josefine and Thomas, and I could kind of feel her resistance towards him, because he is, first of all, he's younger than her, so he was like a little bit more childish, and also he came from a place in Norway that is like where the kind of like the bratty rich kids come from, and then I could just like sense her like with him. She was just like, at the audition, she was just like, ugh. And
then you thought, we got it.
Yeah, because it felt like it was exactly the right energy, and I could feel that he got really he wanted to be cool for her and got like insecure.
Yeah.
And it was that energy that I felt like this is where they should be.
Yeah, that's so funny. I remember I was kind of just like rude to him. I remember I was like, "Hey, how old are you?"
How old was he? 16?
He's just 1 year younger than me. But
Yeah.
I was like,
17.
"How old are you?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm born in '97." I was just like, "Oh,
So sweet.
so
You're
weird."
only 1 year older.
Yes.
Or, yeah. But it felt
And I
like...
was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
That's so weird.
But we had the camera because they were sitting, like me and Josefine are sitting now, and we had the camera shooting the audition. And then I pretended to go to the bathroom, but this camera was still running to see the energy between them
it's
when
so
we
mean.
left the room. And it was just perfect because you were so hostile.
That's so weird. That's so insane that you just kept the
I know.
camera rolling. Is that legal?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
And I wonder what I said. Someday I'm gonna.
Yeah, you
Watch
can, yeah.
Someday you will air this
No.
secret tape.
No, I will never air it. I'm not sure we have it anymore because I think we looked for it when we were doing the blooper reels, and we didn't. I think we just deleted it right after.
But we already talking about the second season, which has Noora as the leading character. How was it for you? How was the difference between the first season and the second season for you? Being just a small part, or playing just a small part in the first one, and being the leading actress in the second one.
I think the biggest difference was that I was on camera all the time.
But then I suppose you were already comfortable in your character because you had the chance to get to know it beforehand.
Yeah, I think so. And also I talked a lot with Julia all the time about like the character and just everything. So I felt, and also you just, I think you just get to know your character as you go, and also because Julia wrote episode by episode while we were filming, we never knew what was going to happen. Like I never knew if William was ever going to answer my text. And so I was like, in Norway, everyone was like, when will he answer? And I was also like, yes. So, and that also made it easier to just like play the character, because I didn't have to think about her like journey. I didn't have a whole script to like try to analyze like how am I gonna like, so that helped, I think. And
but also you became a huge star for the second season, right?
Yeah.
What? Or
Yeah.
I suppose everyone was asking you about the character and about the show, and you became Noora in everyone's eyes. And how was it for you, coming from a small town or village? I don't know. So it's a huge difference in the life.
Yeah. It was, but I don't know why, but I didn't think that much about it. But sometimes if I was at the mall and suddenly there were like or I remember when I was going on vacation for the first time after SKAM, and I was like, oh, that's going to be nice and just get some privacy. I was going to Spain, and then I put up an Instagram story on the plane that I was going.
But not as Noora.
No, as me.
As your.
And then I remember getting off the plane, and it was just like 30 people standing at the airport.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh, oh, okay, it's real. Like people really know. But
how could you treat it or handle it? How could you handle it? I mean,
I have always just think it's very nice. Like people are very nice, and I think it's just positive that people like what you do, and also I always get asked if I think it's like annoying that people people still like shouts Nora when I walk on the streets. Like it's still like people think of me as her, but I'm just like I understand it because that's the first thing I did, and we didn't do any interviews, and we didn't really talk to the media when we were playing in SKAM.
But was it because you wanted them to think that she's Nora and not Josefine, and if she gives interviews, then there is a split between the actress and the role, or why?
It was both. It was both to like keep the blur lines, and it was to keep the mythology around the series, but it was also to keep the very young actors safe from
To protect them.
Yeah. So it was it was a lot of reasons that we just chose to we're not going to do any interviews or media, or we're going to select maybe one a year, or like we're going to try to control this.
It's very interesting because I think many people in their teenage, they want to become famous.
Yes.
And you wanted to really stop them from it. You wanted them to be...
I knew that they would become more famous if we held back on the media. I knew that was not that's not going to be an issue. They're going to be famous, and we're not creating this series to make anyone famous. We're creating this series for the teens in Norway to have someone to identify with and relate with. And we've already reached the teens of Norway, so there's no reason to do publicity, because that's our goal as the public. Of course, we're not a commercial TV series. We're public for the public. So there's not really a good reason to do publicity unless it's for gaining for the series or the teens for the public. So, yeah.
It's very interesting for me this kind of distinction between commercial television and public television, because commercial television really wants to build stars and use them and make money of them, and this is the total opposite of it. And still you became stars.
Yes, and I think they became stars because of it, because I think it builds a mythology. If people don't get answers about somebody they're curious about, they're just going to generate more questions and more fuss and more mythology, and it just actually builds the star in a much bigger way.
You, Josefine, experienced that on your Instagram profile, for example? I mean, your private Instagram profile, which become more successful? I mean...
Yeah, I think by the end we started in 2015.
Yes.
And when did people like started? Like when was it like?
Well, I think we reached like the Norwegian teens in season 1, and then in season 2 with the Nora Williams story, we started reaching Scandinavia, and like that was when Denmark and Sweden and everything, and then in season 3. That's when Brazil and Russia and everyone. So it was like a 3-stage.
Yeah, because I remember in 2017, I got 1 million followers.
Wow.
And
1 million.
And it really shows that it was because of SKAM. Because and now I have like 1.5 or something, and that's been like since 2017. So it like really just grew when we were in SKAM, and then it like calmed down. So yeah, it really...
But it means you're already an influencer, not just an actress or a star. It means you're an influencer, and you got, I suppose, a lot of offers and advertisements and so on. How do you handle it? Or how do you see it?
I think I don't know why, but I've always been kind of lucky that I don't, like, I think it's just nice on Instagram. Like, and I've been very lucky. I haven't gotten any hate. Like, I only get positive messages, and I think it's so nice. I try to read them, and it's just so much love. So I've never felt like so much like pressure for likes or comments. I just think it's like nice.
But did you feel the responsibility of it?
No, because
I mean,
there's...
did you want to use it for something?
Yeah, I try to put up nice things that might get people to smile, or I post sometimes about like nature and climate change, so I try to use it in that way, but not too much, because I really love acting, and it's the other side of acting, like becoming famous and doing interviews and everyone wanting your opinion on like politics and everything. That's kind of it's not always that you want to do that, so I've chosen to not like speak very loudly about things, because that's just my personal preference. But I feel a responsibility in the way that I don't like post like, I don't know if you know what I mean.
I think so.
You try to be your real personality also on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't try to like put out something that's not real, and I try to give good vibes, and I of course I wouldn't post anything bad, I try to not post things that make people feel kind of pressure or like, yeah.
So you don't want to show a different picture of you than what you are.
No.
If I understand it right.
Yeah, I don't know why I would try to be someone else.
It's funny because with SKAM we just casted real teens, not even actors. It was just like teens coming in from the streets trying to be on audition, and then suddenly they had 1 million followers on Instagram, which is, they never really tried to be influencers or anything like that. They just like kind of ended up in this teen show at the public broadcaster, and then the fame hit them, and then they're here with 1 million followers. And this is, some of them got the part when they were 16, 15 years old, and you haven't really developed your identity. It's a huge responsibility without even like knowing who you are. We tried as much as we could to talk to them about that. It's a funny story, because at the audition I said to all the actors, when I knew I was going to cast them for the part, I said, so this is like, I might call you next week and ask you if you want to be in this series, but I want you to think about this, that if you say yes, you might become a public person, and then you give up the freedom to be whoever in a crowd. You're going to sit on a bus and maybe have a bad day, and 10 people will want to talk to you. And I want you to think about that now, before.
But you cannot imagine it beforehand.
No, and then she was just like, Josefine told me that she was thinking, okay, this woman is delusional. It's just a small teen show.
Yeah, I was like, it's an internet show. Like I thought it was gonna be this awkward thing, because like the internet, that's like, why? And I didn't tell many people.
But you didn't take it seriously.
I took it very seriously, because I got an act. I could act, and I felt.
But you didn't think it was going to be famous.
I didn't.
And I think that's like, we tried to talk to them during the course of through the season where the show grew. But it's a lot of attention to handle for young people, and it's like waking up one day and having 1 million followers, and having people asking you like, what do you feel is your responsibility with all these followers, where you really just went to an audition and it all happened. You didn't try to be an influencer. It's like it's hard. I think it's been one of the hardest thing with the actors in this show.
But I'm so happy that we weren't allowed to do interviews and do other things. I'm very happy about that, because I was 18, 19, 20 when I got all the followers, but at the same time you're very young, and I'm glad that that I could think about it. So when the
you
show
had the time,
ended,
to
so
get used to it.
Yeah, so that I could think about, but do I really want to be a very public person, or do I want to keep myself private, and how do I want to be to the public? So I'm very happy about that, because I think it's hard if we were just allowed to do everything, because then then we probably would have been like, okay, I don't know how this works. Okay, hello, yeah, you know, but what I love about my Instagram is that it's very obvious that my followers are fans of SKAM. So it's very personal. Like, I get so many personal messages. Like, they tell their story to me, and they like talk about how my character helped them, and so I think it's just that makes it easier, instead of which I would have been like, why are they following? You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a good reason that I have so many followers.
I see. I bet there are some fans here who follows you on Instagram. Maybe even send some messages later on. Maybe we will get to know it. But let's talk about something about acting. You just said, or both of you said that they didn't have any experiences about acting, which means you should, or I guess, you should have make rehearsals, or how did you teach them how to act, or what you are expecting of them?
Yeah. No, we didn't rehearse anything, and that the reason I wanted to, I'd only directed children before, so I was used to directing actors who weren't professional. But I think that teens that are not professional actors, and of course we had 1,500 teens in the first round of audition, so we saw a lot of teens, and I was kind of like, okay, they need to have some talent, they need to be natural in front of a camera, but I'm really looking for amazing personalities, charismatic, charming people who are impossible not to fall in love with. And then they should have some talent, and then I'm sure in the editing room and with my direction it will work. And I also think that that way of being intuitive, and that way of just being in the moment, in the scene, and playing with the scene, is actually what I think makes them amazing actors, because they don't care about technique or how to do things. They just like, oh, I understand. This is kind of like the discussion I had with my best friend last week, and then.
But there is no improvisation in the scenes.
Yes, and it is. And what I made sure in the second round of audition, they got a script that was really badly written. It was a dialogue between two friends, and I made it really bad. And then I said to them, okay, so this is what the scene is about, but you don't have to say these words. I want you to find some words that make sense to you, but means the same thing. So I kind of found also actors that I knew could take my scripts and were able to translate it into their own language. Like, they wouldn't say anything if they didn't believe it.
And it went on like that from the beginning till the end?
No, because after a while, it's kind of when you work with the actors, you know what they can do and what they can't do. And since I was writing from week to week, it was kind of like I got closer to Josefine, and Josefine got closer to me. I knew what she was able to act and what she wasn't. So, and I kind of even started writing on her dialect. Like, I heard her voice in my head when I was writing for her.
You have a dialect?
She has originally a dialect, yes.
It's funny. And how did you achieve them to be a group, a real team? Because in the show they seem like a very good gang, especially the girls. So they should have spent time together for it.
Oh, they didn't really.
There were no camps before the before the shooting.
We did like a 2-day thing before the first day of shooting, like we had improvised, and but they didn't really. I guess they're just great actors because they didn't really hang that much. Like you hang sometimes with the other girls, but you didn't spend that much time together behind the camera. So I don't know.
It's funny because I bet the audience expects of you to be friends in real life as well, because it's the same with the Harry Potter characters or every other show, that if we see you as a gang or as friends, then we suppose it's like for the actors too.
Yeah, I think we're always going to have something special, that we're always going to be connected.
Yeah, you share the same experience, which is very special.
Yeah, and we are the only ones who can like talk together about that, like, and not sound like divas. We can be like, oh my God, we got so famous with that. But and we really got along and everything. But yeah, we didn't like hang out that much. And I lived in another city, so I flew forth and back for the last 2 seasons.
And why didn't you move to Oslo?
Because I wanted to live where I lived. I just,
You worked at a theater too,
yeah,
right?
I also worked at a theater.
During the show, you got an offer from a theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we worked. I worked a lot with the chemistry between the love stories, like with Thomas and Josefine, and in the other seasons. I worked with them, like having the right chemistry, because because you definitely didn't hang.
No, we didn't. It was very awkward with me and Thomas in the first seasons. I remember you guys took us to you were like, go to this address.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I sent them
Saturday
to an
escape room.
I see.
And we were just like
a team building.
Team building, and we were in that room being like...
And they were just like...
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, it's very funny, because as Nora and William like fell in love, me and Thomas became more and more friends. And he became like the closest friend to me at last. Like, and... Yeah, and we meet, and so it's very funny.
Yes, and I feel like in the last episode of season 2, the chemistry is amazing.
Yeah.
So they kind of like grew into the chemistry with the characters. And that's amazing. Just to like point out that when you shoot in this way, in real time, when you shoot chronologically and you write, something happens as the story go along. Because normally when you shoot a film, you have like you shoot the last scene on the first day or whatever. It's different, but shooting is like the way the story goes. Something happens.
Also, because you have to make such intimate scenes together, like kissing and being in the bed together and half naked or so. And I bet it wasn't very easy for you without any acting experiences, because I think it's really challenging.
Yeah.
Was it for you? I mean, because I didn't, or because I had never done it before. I think everyone, and because we weren't professional actors, so we didn't know how to be professional, and so we felt that we could be like, no, Julie, I don't want to do, like, we were really, when I look back on it, you don't do that to the director, like, so I remember I was like, no, I don't want to kiss anyone, and I had a boyfriend, and you know, but we felt like very safe, like, you know, it was just Julie in the room and the camera, and we knew each other all very well, so it just felt like safe. And now as an actor, like, it's weird, but now it's almost impossible to get get a role in a film or series without having to do sex scenes, and that's just kind of how it is.
But do you have rules for that? What do you want to show, or what you don't want to show, or what is okay with you and what is not okay with you?
Yeah, I have my personal preferences and what I feel, my boundaries. I think that's very, very important to don't.
So you already had to say no to things?
Yeah, I have. But I mean, almost always you can still play it. I mean, if it's like if you get a self-tape or an audition and they say beforehand, like, this is a show where you have to be fully naked, you just don't go to the audition or you just don't apply. But
there is this new occupation, intimacy coordinator.
Yeah, I've worked with
Really?
one. Yeah, I just did a show where we had an intimacy coordinator, and it's very good that that's a thing and makes you feel safe, and yeah.
Great. We don't have much time yet, so I have to hurry up and ask you about ending the show. Why did you end the show, actually? Because you could go on with that for many more years.
Yeah. Well, because of as I said, the show was made for Norwegian teens. And it grew out of, when we shot like the last episodes of SKAM, there were 50 fans standing in the school where we were shooting. We couldn't shoot anywhere without people taking pictures. It was impossible to keep it a secret. The actors were getting more and more tired of the fame and all that, and they got asked to do other stuff. They wanted to, like, they got so many offers to do cool things that they had to turn down. So they kind of grew out of the show. The show grew out of it, the way it was supposed to be shot and made.
See. It's very interesting.
So it was kind of like, and this is not, we're not doing this for the world. We're doing this for the Norwegian public with their money. And that's what we stick to, and we stick to that all the time. And I think it's part of the success that we had the integrity all the time of the show. So
the show was killed by its success?
Yes.
Wow.
And then it was kind of like, well, this is as good as it gets, and we'll stop here instead of ruining it. And then NRK said, so, but there's obviously people around the world that need shows like this, so we're open to, you can format giving the show to other cultures. And then, so it's been, I think it's been like 11 adaptations around the world in different languages and for teens everywhere.
Have you seen all of them?
I've seen some of all of them. I haven't watched every episode, but I've seen, yeah.
Of course. And have you seen different Nooras?
No, I haven't watched the shows, but I've met some of the other Nooras.
Which one?
I met the French one, and the Dutch one, and the American one.
And how did it feel that they have stolen your character?
No, it was very fun, and
were they very different from yours? From your Nooras?
I don't know. I haven't.
I mean, just from the image, you see a different actress. She seems different. She has different features.
Oh yeah.
She has different character.
Yeah, but some of them have like the bob and things like that. But yeah, but it was very nice to meet them, and it's very cool that they. And also, I went to see in Denmark. They turned SKAM into a theater play.
Wow!
And
really?
then I went to the premiere, and that was very fun. And they looked so much like us.
Yes.
I was sitting there, and the one who played Nora, I was just like, how?
Yeah.
And the one who played Eva,
Yeah,
I thought it was Lisa, the actor. I was just like this. So what is happening? That was weird.
Yeah,
and they had
because it's like an impersonator.
outfits, and they had cut her hair and everything, and that was weird. Then I was like, oh, it's weird.
But didn't you have the feeling that it was my character? I'm Noora. What is that?
No, because it's not my character. I feel that it's Julia's character. And I was just so lucky to play that character. And I really love the character and I miss her and I hope she's happy and all of that. But I feel like it's just super cool that they can... that it can be different Noora out there and with different cultures and.
But you didn't have also the feeling that I'm the original one?
No, I never felt that. No.
And we didn't talk about the Instagram profiles of the characters because every character had an own profile. And didn't have the actors' impact on their character's profile?
I think so, yeah. Didn't you, Mari, who was the producer of she did all the social media. She was amazing. I think she had like 20, 30 Instagram and Facebook accounts, and she just ran around the office, I remember her, with like 5 phones, and just like, what day is it today? What are we publishing?
And she was on her own responsible for that?
Yes.
All the profiles?
Yes.
Wow.
She was amazing. And I think she talked to all the actors, and we're just like, how do you think about this? Because she was like in between scenes. She had to take pictures for the Instagram. So she would like ask, but you didn't have any, like you were never, the actors were never touching the Instagram accounts. It was all done at
But they could have suggestions?
They could. I don't know if you really did though,
No.
but you.
I followed her
Yeah.
for some time, but then it was weird. So that was fun. I stalked Noora all the time. Every day I was
Yes.
also like, what is she gonna post today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it scary for you, Julie, to have such a huge success in your career? Didn't you ever have the feeling that, oh my God, can I make it again in my life? Or wasn't it too much for you?
Well, it's been much bigger than I ever dreamt of in my life. I never expected to. I was just making like a small teen show on Norwegian public television. So it was like, it's more than I ever dreamt of. And if I never have success ever again, I will still die happy. Like I'm so thankful for the experience and amazing. And then, yeah, of course, I feel the pressure because it's like, when you're just an underdog and never made a teen show in your life, then it's kind of like you can't fail. It's like you do your best, and then, but now it's like everyone is like, you've done something amazing. What are you doing next? Is it gonna be just as amazing? So, but I've had to become aware of that and be like, no, I have to find. I used to write for fun, and I'm still gonna write for fun. Like I have to get back to that feeling of not trying to be a great writer or do anything to live up to that image, but just like have it come from where it came from in the start, from within. But definitely, that kind of success does something to you and the way you think, and it's hard.
Yeah, I bet. And you became an expert of this generation. Do you use that for your new project?
Well, I don't know if I ever felt like an expert, but I think I always love to write about people that are different than myself, that are like kind of far away from where I am, because it's like sometimes when it gets too close to home, I feel like at least my writing can be a little bit self-absorbed. Like you think that the problems you have are the most interesting problems in the world, while when you do research the way I did with SKAM, it's easier to see like, oh, this is what you're battling with. I know kind of how to help you. So I always prefer, I guess, to write about someone different than myself in a sense. I think it's easier.
I actually want to ask you a little more trickier what you are working about now.
Yes, I can't really tell you. I'm not going to answer. So.
Okay, and did you see that SKAM had a huge impact on the whole media thinking, actually? How we make series, or how we should make series nowadays in the 21st century, not just for the small screen, but for different platforms. Do you see that you could teach something to the world about it?
I don't know if I could teach us. It's funny because we made shows like this at NRK for 10 years, so I don't feel that I can take all of the credit for creating shows like this. NRK should. Do you know what I mean? They've been, like you said, really good at trying to develop new kinds of stories. And then I feel like a lot of people love to talk about the way we made SKAM, and I've been to many festivals. And I think that, and I see like definitely all the adaptations try to adapt that way of telling the story. But I haven't seen that many other shows trying to do the same thing. So I don't know if it really, and I don't think it's like whenever something succeeds, it's like everyone is very interested and like, we should make all shows like this right now. But that's not true, because not every show is like, this is the best way to tell that story. But there are hundreds and thousands of ways of telling a story and choosing the best one for your story. So I don't know if it's made any impact, and I don't know if it should make an impact. It's maybe just, yeah, it's just a way of telling a story, and then storytellers should always try to develop way of telling stories. Okay, blah, 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 I could hear. That was more boring answer.
Okay, thank you. I think it's time to give the chance to the audience to ask questions. Where or who is going to ask the first question? Yeah, thanks. Could you please stand up? Oh my, sorry, maybe, yeah, we need a microphone.
Hi guys. So my question would be to Josefine. Do you think that you have anything in common with the character Noora, like you personally?
I think that I have as much in common with her as probably you. Like, I think we are, or I mean, it's a hard question because I feel like every character that I play, it's always like, it's my body and my mind saying the lines. And for example, when we improvised, oftentimes I was like, oh, now I was just myself. When Noora is like joking and being like, then I was just like, oh. And but I mean, I think we care about some of the same stuff, but I think we're different as well.
You're
very
much
bad
cooler.
answer. I'm much cooler.
No, but you are. She's much more uptight,
yeah,
and much more like she has much more rules than you have.
Yeah, I think I'm more loose and not that uptight, maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Yes, so, hi. My question would be to Julie. I wanted to ask, while you were doing the research for SKAM, how open were the teens about their struggles, and what informations were you looking for exactly?
Well, it differed from teen to teen how open they were, and sometimes we would have like two friends coming together to talk, and some teens would not open up at all, and other would tell us the whole life story, so it was different. But we were looking for a need, like, what do they need? Like, how can we help them? And we figured out that something they needed at the time in 2015 was that they were under a lot of pressure to perform in school, and on social media and socially with friends and in sports and everything. So the question was, is it possible to create a show that can take away some of that pressure or take off some of that pressure? And how would that show look? And that's how SKAM started, like actually with that question, to try to find some way to help them. And we realized that, okay, if we create characters that are able to laugh of their own shortcomings and be goofy and do stupid things, but we can still make it light and fun and show them a way out, maybe that will take up some of the pressure. And we try to find different ways of like, see if we could make teens have healthier thoughts about their own reality.
Hi, my question is kind of for the both of you, though, Josefine, you have mentioned your vacation to Spain, but do you remember an exact moment when you knew that the show made it worldwide, like out of Norway? Do you remember an exact moment where you found out that it's not just in the country, but in the whole world?
The exact moment, that's a good question. I don't really, I feel like I used to remember this, but now it's kind of like it's been 2 years of COVID and I haven't done panels in a while. But I remember at least during the Nora and William season, there was like at one point where William didn't answer a text message and the whole world, it was like 3 days and it felt like at least all of Scandinavia was waiting with Nora for that William. And I remember being in, like there were advertisements on television for like cell phones plans saying if William used our plan, he would have answered by now. Like the whole world were insane. And I remember thinking, this is crazy. This is how did we get them this obsessed?
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember on set on school one day, you said something like, "Oh my God, now look at this," and I don't remember what it was. So it's not that very. That was. I don't know why I said that, but I remember that I have had a moment where I was like, what the?
Yeah.
But I think it's still like that whenever I travel, that I get so surprised that I was in Tokyo and people were waiting at the airport and waiting outside hotels that's still to me is crazy, but it's very nice because everyone is very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Hi. So I wanted to ask, how did your environment react to you becoming an actress? And what did your family and friends say, your teachers? Did anyone criticize you for taking the role?
Everyone was very happy for me, and I think that it's very important in life, even though you don't become famous, or just to have very nice people around you. And I've always had a very, very small circle of friends and that I see every day, and so my personal life didn't change. So I just did the same things, and it was, but yeah. So everyone was happy, and I didn't feel any, but I don't think anyone around me. I think everyone was also as shocked as me and you and everyone that it became so big. I remember. Oh, now I remember when, or at least when I noticed about Norway, because when we were nominated for the Norwegian award, and we just won everything that we were nominated in. and that's like award show that everyone knows and watches. And then I remember my family and friends were like, "Oh my God, this is what's happening."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long answer for your short question. Sorry.
Hi, I'd like to ask Josefine, like Julie just said that with the show you wanted to help Norwegian teens and everything, and so I'd like to ask you if it helped you with anything. I knew that you were more like a young adult and not a teenager during SKAM, but did it help you? Did it teach you anything?
Yeah, it taught me a lot, but it yeah, I didn't know that teenagers in Oslo were like this, or that many people felt like the characters, and like it really taught me how the teenagers were living then, and also I admired some of or all of the characters. With Noora, I was like, she's very cool. Like she really stands up for herself, and I should do that as well. And like many of the audience thought, and so yeah, I learned, and also I learned a lot just as an actress, and just yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I would like to ask, what experience did you have on the first day on set in season 2? Like, was it like fun or sad, or like was it like completely new?
I don't remember that
No,
day.
I was trying to think if I remembered anything from the first episode on season 2.
Oh, I think it was. Isn't it when Noora like finds the condom
Yes.
and walks in on
Yeah.
on
I remember that. Yeah.
Eskil?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. Do you remember shooting that?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Because I remember, because then I make food,
Yeah.
right? And I remember you said, "Oh, I should have asked you to practice cutting cutting vegetables because no, okay." That I remember. And I remember I was like, but I'm left-handed, and the camera was in the wrong place. So then I switched hand, and yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
So that was that. Yeah.
Hi, I would like to ask the both of you, Julie, what is your writing process look like? Or do you have a special way of writing the shows or characters? And Josefine, I would like to ask you that about your headspace when you have to get into the character, in like this case, Noora, like how was it like?
Okay, so the way I write is that if I'm going to write a new episode, I'm terrified. I have 5 days to write an episode, so I'm terrified for 4 days and thinking I can't write. I tricked everyone. I don't know how to do this, and it's not going to work. And then I don't write, just walk around with anxiety until like the last day where I absolutely have to write, and then I start writing. No, but it feels like I talked to another writer the other day, and he had this very good analogy, I think. He said, like, writing is like pushing like a wagon uphill, and then it's really hard for a long time, and then suddenly it's downhill, and it just drags you with it. Like, you get lost in the episode and in the story, and I think SKAM at its best was when, like, in the beginning where I'd rather sit at NRK at 11 o'clock on a Friday night writing about these teens rather than being out with my friends and partying. I don't know how if I have any good advice or anything on writing. I think I'm obsessed with characters and character developments, so that's always where I start in developing characters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, it's your turn. Yeah. What was it again?
What does your process in the acting side look like? Like, how do you get in the headspace for the character?
I think in SKAM, I don't know, it just kind of happens, I feel like. Because for me, like the costumes are so important. Like that, even that just helps me to be the character. And I think it's so hard if in some project you have rehearsals and then you wear your own clothes and there's no cameras, and I hate that because then I feel like I don't want to act and I can't get into the character. So there's just small things like getting your red lipstick on and someone telling you what to do. Yeah, I don't have a very good answer for that, actually. And also I remember on set you used to call us our character names. And it's important to just, so it kind of just happens. And I don't know how. But now sometimes I write diaries as my character, and that helps. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my question is, so in the first season, they mentioned that Noora lived in Madrid. And why did you choose Madrid? Was it random, or somebody had a special connection, or?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I think, well, she was supposed to be really good at Spanish in that scene, right? Because she was going to impress Eva. But I don't remember why we chose Madrid, or I really don't remember.
I remember you called me and asked which language did you choose in high school?
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah. I asked if you, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
It's okay, thank you.
Hello, my question is to Josefine is that how could you keep up with school, and did you go to university or just kept being an actress?
Well, I was 18 when I got the part, so I was then you're done with high school, and then I just became an actress. So it didn't.
And do you still keep in touch with the others, or you guys don't talk anymore?
We keep in touch. We see each other. Now it's been COVID, so now we haven't seen anyone. But we have. Oslo is such a small town, and Norway is so small that if you work as an actor, you're gonna bump into someone. So Ina, I meet at the theater she works on, and we just see each other sometimes. But yeah,
Thank
sometimes.
you.
Thank you very much for the questions, and also for you to come here. It was really a great pleasure for us.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes.
And for you, there's another information I have to share. We can see Josefine in another role today at 3 o'clock in the film Disco, and I suggest you to stay here and watch her together. Thank you very much again, and see you here. Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.